How would I know that twin flame separation is just about over? We're getting real close, right? It's imminent. My twin flame is going to reach out and contact me. How would you know that? Well, that's kind of your clue right there. It's a knowing. You experience yourself as one with your twin flame. Very interesting. And it's not a mental, conceptual understanding. It's not conceptual. It's not the mind. It's the soul. If you're new to this channel, welcome. My name is Kurt. I'm the world's #1 twin flame coach. I've personally coached 7,000 twin flame students to date in my paid coaching program, and there's over 1,000 free videos on my YouTube channel. I'd like to invite you to go check them out. You're going to get something a little bit different on my channel when it comes to the topic of twin flames. And you're going to get a great example of that today. So what inspired this video was one of my lovely YouTube subscribers who was just kind of confused about how this all works. And they kept using this word connection, right? Connection, connection, it's a connection. They said a spiritual connection with your twin soul, right? This is a spiritual connection with your twin soul. And this is part of the twin flame mythology that we've all kind of gotten used to seeing online today about twin flames where, you know, it's like the soul splits and you're searching for the other half of your soul forever. And there's no teaching about the soul splitting in thousands of years of the Zen traditions. That's never been written about. Nobody's ever talked about it. Buddha, Jesus, Krishna, Krishnamurti, right? Yogananda, every single Buddhist monk, every single teacher of genuine spiritualism, non-duality spiritualism, not the pop culture stuff on the internet, guys. Real spiritualism. They're never going to tell you that. There are no records at all saying that the soul does some kind of splitting thing or something like that. But there are plenty of people talking about a thing called reincarnation. And here's another thing. Well, let me finish this thought before I get into that, because we're going to talk about the word separation, where that word really came from. Because when you view this person as separate from you, so there's my half of the soul and there's their half of the soul, and that makes a we, and we are separate. Right, that's the whole problem. Separation. We're going to get into that in today's video. That's where the word separation really came from. So you're trying to conceptualize the soul and make it a duality, right? Make it a concept, and it's not. Now, what's really going on is reincarnation. You just have two incarnations of your soul going on simultaneously. Okay, so this is the higher self in heaven or the afterlife, which is really the before life, right? You could call it the energy part of the universe, right? Whatever you want to call that plane of existence. And where the higher self exists is beyond time, right? Albert Einstein said past and future happen simultaneously. And on these higher planes, physics have proven that if you could actually live as a being on one of these higher planes, just like spiritual masters have been telling us for millennium, that is what happens when you do the thing that we call die, right? Your mind goes away, your body goes away, you live on this higher plane of existence. And here comes quantum physics going, that is how that works. Like if you could live as a being on one of those higher planes, you would not experience time. That's what science says, guys. And spiritual teachers have been saying that for thousands of years about the soul, right? You're going beyond this physical realm of duality and separation. You're going beyond that when you do the thing that we call die. And that's what this is, the higher self. Now, the higher self experiences all of these individual incarnations of your soul simultaneously. Because there is no such thing as time. right? So you and your twin flame are just simultaneous incarnations of the same soul, guys. That's all this is. There's no soul splitting or anything like that. That's just another way for the mind to control this twin flame thing and try to make sense of it. And that's the only way that the mind understands how to do anything, is separation. It views everything through the lens of separation. And it'll even try to say that there's my soul and their soul, but it's the same soul, like the soul split or something, to try to understand this. It's just forget about all that stuff. Now, the mind is duality, right? The mind is separation, right? And in science, they even have a similar observation about the way our universe works. So this is old stuff, guys. This is stuff that's been validated by modern science even, and spiritual teachers have been teaching this for a long, long time. So let's talk about this word separation. And for that matter, union and detaching. The signs when you are about to hear from your twin flame again, basically, right? What you call separation, I call something completely different separation, right? But you're calling it separation. And what you're calling separation is we're apart physically, we're not together. What I'm calling separation is a mental state. And that's the true teaching of separation. Union and detaching. Those words are not twin flame terminologies. Those are right out of the Zen teachings. Okay? Real spiritualism, not the pop culture, new agey stuff on the internet, guys. And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to put anybody down. I'm not trying to make anybody wrong. But you're in a lot of pain, guys. You're suffering and you're confused. And anybody can open a YouTube channel and say anything they want to say, can't they? Yeah, well, maybe it's time we get this all straightened out so that we can end your struggle. That's what I want to help you do, guys. I'm not trying to be mean. It's just, I figured it out, okay? I cracked the code on twin flames. And actually, what's really going on with these words, separation, union, and detaching, is somebody else figured it out before the internet. I have no idea who it was. But you can tell somebody figured this out, because those words, those teachings, separation, union, and detaching, are not twin flame words originally. Long ago, thousands of years ago, Transcendentalism was using this terminology to explain states of consciousness. Now, my hypothesis here is a few decades ago, 1970s, 1980s, before the internet, somebody who did meet their twin flame, they did figure this out. They figured it out. They went, wait a minute, this is just transcendentalism. This is just the true spiritual teachings, right? And they took this terminology and superimposed it over the twin flame journey. And correctly so. That is a legitimate thing to do. Now, here's the problem. Here's what happened. Here's why you're confused. The internet comes along, gets a hold of the teachings, and starts playing telephone with it. And so now everybody's using these words, separation, union, and detaching, in the wrong way. Basically, it's the internet, right? You ever play that game when you were a kid, telephone? Remember that game? Just in case, for those of you who don't know what that is, the teacher gets all the kids in a big circle, and she whispers a one-sentence story into the ear of one kid, and that kid tells the story into the next kid, into the next kid, into the next kid, into the next kid. And by the time it makes it all the way back around to the teacher, it's something completely different. So the internet has taken the true twin flame teachings and is playing a big game of telephone with it, because now you think separation means the physical status between you and your twin flame. And union and detaching, what the hell is that, right? Like, I don't know what that's all about, right? Guys, that should be your first clue. Somebody already figured this out. I don't know who it was. They could be dead and gone by now. This was probably before I was even born. You know what I mean? But those teachings made their way onto the internet, and the internet is playing a game of telephone with those teachings. So the word separation is really talking about believing that you are the mind, deriving your sense of self from the ego mind, the personality. Union comes from the word unity. So unity consciousness is when you experience yourself as one with all the world, and it's this weird knowing. I've experienced it where I felt like I was the trees and the sky and the buildings. I've also experienced unity with my twin flame, and I've done that many times, right? And that's why she's permanently in my life. And then I went on to teach this to thousands of people. And detaching, by the way, detaching is what happens when you transcend identification as the mind and remember that you are the unity consciousness of the soul. That's detaching. You release the need to have things out there be the way the ego says they should be. You detach from them, and it's energetic. You don't think your way there. You experience yourself as one with your twin flame. It's not concept. You don't understand what I'm thinking. That's separation. So the mind is duality, right? The mind is duality. Again, that's the ancient Zen teaching of spiritualism, duality, right? Me, you, right? Me, you. Me, that out there. We, us. And I have to connect to my twin flame. No, you don't connect to your twin flame, guys. If you do try to connect to your twin flame, they run. Why? Because your starting point is to believe that you are separate from them. Separation. Your starting point is the whole problem. Your assumption in the first place is that I am me and they are they. And then again, there are even people on the internet that say that the soul splits, and there isn't a single page written anywhere in any of the ancient texts talking about that. I mean, Plato wrote about it, but we don't know what Plato was talking about, and he certainly didn't call it twin flame. And by the way, I mean, he was really talking about a soulmate. And by the way, how does he know? Is he a mystic? Is he some kind of a, did he meditate his way there? Plato was a man, guys. He wrote about the soul splitting in two because it sounded romantic. It sounded cute, but it's got nothing to do with reality. The reality is this, reincarnation, which we know is true. We know this is true. And again, this even follows proven scientific principles. The same teachings of reincarnation that the recognized spiritual masters have been teaching for thousands of years are perfectly in alignment with what science is saying about how our universe works. Guys, the soul doesn't split. That's just another way for the mind to try to stay in control here, and that's the whole problem. So when you believe that you are the mind, that's separation consciousness, right? So your personality, an identity, I'm a mom, I'm a brother, I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm a teacher, I'm a YouTuber, I'm a truck driver, I'm a twin flame, I'm a liberal, I'm a conservative, I've been to these places, I've done these things. That's who I am. That's what me is. It's a story, a history, a bunch of memories, thoughts, and emotions, right? But what the true spiritual traditions are saying is that you are not that. You are consciousness. That's the soul. You are not your mind. And it's so well known. Look at this. They even put it on this bumper sticker. This is so well known, what I'm teaching you guys. This isn't my opinion. Zen Buddhism, don't even think about it. Ha ha, okay, funny joke, guys. Yeah, that is funny. The name of the first chapter of Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now, is called You Are Not Your Mind. That's separation. The mind is separation. I am me and you are you. That's what the mind does, guys. And it's not bad or defective because it's doing that. That's what it's for. But everybody online who's trying to figure out what to do about their twin flame is approaching it through the mind. They are approaching it through separation. It's a connection. I got to connect to my soul even. Guys, you don't need to connect to your soul. Your soul is consciousness. Let's close out the video by doing an exercise. I'm going to show you how easy this is. You already are union. You already are unity consciousness. Union, right? You already are your twin flame. You already are them. And again, when separation is about to end, you experience oneness with your twin flame. It's a knowing. It's not thought. It's like deja vu, kind of. It kind of feels like that, right? Like it's this weird, eerie knowing, like, yeah, I know I am them and we are one. How do I know that? Right. The mind is what is saying, how do I know that? The mind is trying to figure out the knowing. Just like deja vu. Yeah, I feel like I've done this before. How do I know that? Right. That's not you. You're not the one who's saying, I feel like I've done this before. That's a bunch of thoughts. That's concept. Watch this. Here's the exercise. Can a thought feel an emotion? Can a thought listen to this conversation? No. Thought is the object of consciousness. So, as you're looking at your screen, just stop what you're doing. Here's the exercise. Just stop what you're doing. There's thoughts, there's questions. You're saying, Kurt, I don't understand. Right, you're not the one who is saying, I don't understand. The mind is there, going on and on and on and on. But there's a silent witness of the mind. There's this conscious awareness of the mind. How can you be aware of thinking and emotion? What is the awareness? Guys, this is all about being aware that you are aware. Being aware that you are awareness. I am not the mind. I am the consciousness. That's the soul. And again, what the soul is not debated by the great spiritual masters all throughout time. Again, Buddha, Jesus, Paramahansa Yogananda, Eckhart Tolle, right? They're going to tell you, yeah, you're not thought, you are not emotion, you are not your mind. Body, mind, soul. So we're just having a conversation about how those things work, guys. You are not the mind. You're not this identity. You're not a bunch of memories. And you're not sitting there asking questions. You're not sitting there going, I don't understand. Right. That's the understander. You know how you've been having the obsessive thinking? Yeah, you know how you're having the obsessive thinking. Oh my God. Woo! I'll never forget that. Okay. Consciousness is exploding, guys. That's what's happening to you. And it's exploding your ego mind. That's why there's all the obsessive thinking. The ego is dying, guys. They call it ego death in the Zen traditions. You might be calling it dark night of the soul, but those are the same thing. Those are just different labels for the same thing. But in the Zen traditions, they call it ego death. This is your spiritual awakening, guys, and your spirit is consciousness, your soul. Your twin flame is your soul. You are them. You literally are them. You already are the awareness which places the thought as its object. There's thoughts and feelings going on, and you're going, why am I thinking and feeling this stuff? Right. Who's asking? Who's asking? This is why meditation is so important. Very interesting. And again, this energy of consciousness, the deeper you go into that, instead of paying attention to the person and trying to figure out, understand, concept, the mind, figure out what to do about the person, healing, clearing karma, clearing your chakras, yada, yada, all the same tired old advice we hear from so-called twin flame people on the internet. What this is saying is just remember that you are the consciousness. Remember that you are the actual awareness of thought itself. And you go deeper and deeper and deeper into that, right? You're going to start to experience oneness with your twin flame, right? And it's not long after that that you're going to hear from them. Very, very interesting. Okay. And again, you don't understand that you are one with your twin flame. If you're sitting there thinking, I don't understand how I'm one with them. First of all, you are not that which is asking and trying to understand. Number two, you don't think your way there. It's experienced. You experience thought. You experience deja vu. You experience oneness with your twin flame. There might be thinking about the knowing, the deja vu, the weird knowing. There might be thinking about the oneness that you feel with your twin flame. But the problem is that you identify as the thinker. Who you really are is the knowing, right? That weird, eerie knowing. That's why I'm using deja vu as an example, because it feels like that. But the information is different. The information is telling you, I am them, right? And you experience that. Same thing with your thoughts. There's a you who experiences thoughts and emotions, who is separate from the mind, guys. That's the soul. That's your twin flame. And by the way, that's unity consciousness. My friends, go watch my free twin flame coaching videos. There's a playlist on this channel called The True Twin Flame Teachings. Go check them out. They're free. Go sign up for my paid coaching. Guys, please do something about your situation. Thank you very much for watching. Have a wonderful week.